Hey everyone. Hello. How's everyone doing? Where is everyone watching from? Let me know in the comments where in the world you're located. Serbia. Nice. UK. Poland. Belgium. Spain. Argentina. Got live on this one. USA. This is interactive workshop. And we should be live on Facebook as well. Hello Facebook, Romania, Turkey. Hello to everyone who joined my live stream. And we're just gonna wait for Facebook to also join us. Chile, Peru, lots of people watching from South America. That's cool. Morocco. Alright, those who just joined me on Facebook, hello, welcome to this live stream. Please let me know in the comments where you're watching this from. Hey Laura, thanks for letting me know. No worries. Take care. United States, Brazil, Costa Rica. Cool, cool, cool. Where else? Indiana, New Jersey. Don't feel bad, Laura. You can just watch it back. I hope that everything's okay and you're okay. So yeah, don't feel bad. Just watch it later. So we've got people from England, New South Wales, Pakistan. That's cool. I don't know if we have well, I certainly know that we don't have any chapters in Pakistan, but I wonder if we could start a chapter over there. Montreal, Sweden, Tehran, Mexico, Cool. This is a very international live stream, seems like. I don't speak Spanish. Kurdistan. Wow. Lots of people joining me from places that we usually don't have anyone from. So this is very cool. How are you? I'm very good, thank you. I'm feeling great. I'm super excited about this workshop. Your outreach is awesome. I'm glad to see so many people turning vegan. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate your feedback. All right, I think we can get started. Who are you? All right, let me introduce myself to those that don't know who I am, don't know much about AV. They recently followed us, and let me just give them a little bit of background. My name is Asal, and I am the co-founder and director of AV, or Anonymous for the Voiceless, the page that you're following on Instagram or on Facebook. And we're an animal rights organization. What we do is street outreach. We set up demonstrations on the street. We have over 500 groups around the world, different cities in different countries. And what we do is we show people footage from what happens to the animals in meat, dairy, and egg industries, as well as other industries that exploit animals. And we have conversations with people, and we basically help them go vegan. So we're an animal rights group. Now, if you accidentally join this live stream, you're welcome to stay, but this is going to be a workshop for activists. And we're going to talk about how to outreach people, how to talk about veganism to people that are not yet vegan, and how to help them make the connection and go vegan. So you're more than welcome to stay. We're going to be here for the next hour or so. And at the end of the live stream, I would be more than happy to take questions from anyone who has questions for me. But we're going to start the workshop, and the way the workshop works, if you haven't done one of these before, I will ask you questions about, the excuses that we get from non-vegans, and then you all have a chance to respond and give me the answers to those arguments, and then I will add my response, and that's how we do these workshops. And then at the end of the live stream, I'm going to announce 2 people from Facebook and Instagram. Each is going to get a $50 voucher to spend on our website. So that's it. I don't speak Spanish. Hello to you in Italy, Amsterdam, California. Wow, I miss Amsterdam. Amsterdam is my favorite city in the world, I think, so far. And I was just talking about Amsterdam yesterday, and I really miss Amsterdam. Love what you guys do. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I did. It's very busy, that live stream. All right, we're going to get started. Okay, let's get started. I haven't really prepared for this one, but I'm sure I can think of many silly arguments that we get from non-vegans. Hey Laura, hope you're good. How's Canal? Canal is good, I'm guessing, because she doesn't live with me anymore, but I bet she's good. She's the most beautiful individual. All right, let's get started. So, Let me think of some good arguments. Help me. If you can think of arguments, let me know in the comment section. Some juicy arguments that we can start this workshop with. Or perhaps something that you yourself struggle with, and then we can workshop it together. Arya, I had that feeling that that might happen in Iran, and I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, I had a feeling that if we start doing this in Iran, this is what's gonna happen. And yeah, that sucks. If there's anything I can do to help, Arya, please let me know. Please message me. If I can support you in any way, just let me know. I'm happy to chat about it. But please stay safe. Please, please be careful and stay safe. It just makes me really sad because what we do has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with, what we do is completely legal, completely within our rights to protest what's happening to the animals, and has absolutely nothing to do with politics. But of course, if they want to spin it that way, they can do that. So anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I just got a comment from one of my friends in Iran, and there are groups in Iran that have been trying to set up cubes and have been trying to spread the message, or they have shared things from the AV page, and now they've been questioned from the police. Yeah, it's just really sad because, again, what we do is completely legal and necessary. Okay. All right, let's get started. All right, let's start with a funny one, I guess, to change the vibe a little bit. What do you say to someone when you're outreaching them and they say, but what about plants? Plants have feelings too. And you're killing lots of plants, so what's the point of going vegan if you're still going to kill plants? How do you respond to that? Again, if you have any questions for me, just please keep them for the end of the live stream. Yeah, after we're done with the workshop, I'll stay and answer questions that you may have. So the question is, the argument is, someone who says, but plants have feelings too, or plants are alive too. I'm gonna move my phone because I don't like this angle and I feel like it's gonna keep falling. So I'm gonna put it up here. That's better. Why is it crooked? I'm gonna move this. Okay, that's better. Alright, let's see some answers. They have no central nervous system, yes. Oops. Plants have no brain or central nervous system, yes. Laura's standard response, which I really like, is, why don't firefighters go in and rescue plants when there's a fire? Plants have no brain or nervous system, not sentient. Beautiful. If you care so much about plants, then it makes more sense to stop contributing to the slaughter of animals because it requires more plants to feed the animals. Beautiful. Plants aren't sentient beings. Yes, that's good. Plants are not sentient beings, and more plants are killed when we eat animals who ate the plants. Beautiful. Plants are not sentient, they don't have nervous system and can't feel pain. Also, as a vegan, we kill less plants than by eating animals. Absolutely. Plants grow back. I don't want to ignore you guys here, so let me go through. I knew that was gonna happen. Okay. Plants don't have nervous system or brains, and there is no evidence they feel pain. Even if they did, it requires far fewer plants to feed a vegan than a non-vegan. Beautiful. Well, we are feeding billions of animals that eat plants, so better save the plants. They don't have central nervous system, and anyway, we need plants to survive, yes. Even if plants feel pain, we kill more plants by eating animals than just eating the plants. Those people are lying to themselves if they think stabbing a carrot is the same as stabbing a baby. Absolutely. I feel like we have a completely different live stream here on Instagram. Can I please ask everyone on Instagram that if they're not participating in this workshop, keep your questions for later so that I can make sure that I see the comments that are relevant to this workshop. I would really appreciate that. And I wish I could say that in Spanish, but no, I don't speak Spanish. Maybe I should have a tag that says no Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. All right. Those people are lying to... Oh yeah, I read that one. So, any more responses? And if I can make a request to all of you beautiful people that are watching this live stream and are participating in this workshop with me, if you can just ignore the trolls, because I really want you guys to be here present with me and do this workshop with me for the next hour. So let's just ignore the trolls and allow them to just watch this and listen to what I'm saying, because they might actually pay attention and they might get some of the responses, right? Because what happens is I go to check the responses, and there's a whole different conversation happening between the trolls and you guys. And you guys are, I know, trying to outreach them, but I don't want them to take away from this workshop. So let's just ignore them, please. I don't like blocking people willy-nilly, so I'm not going to block people for just commenting and saying bacon though. So just ignore them. Aydin said, fun fact, that's actually racist how much people are asking you, do you speak Spanish? Haha. Like, that's beyond stereotype. Aydin, I know, that's funny. I wouldn't say it's racist, that's fine. But yeah, it's funny how much it happens, how often it happens. Because I know the intention is good. I wouldn't say it's racist, but I get what you're saying. I didn't know I look like someone who speaks Spanish, but now I do. All right. Any more responses? And keep your responses short, please, so that I can make sure that I can read everyone's response. Because if it's extremely long, then it's not fair on others. And I usually say just make 1 or 2 points for each argument. I know that there are many ways we can respond, and there are different points that we can bring up to each argument, but just mention 1 or 2 so that, you know, we're being fair to everyone else. All right, I guess that's it for this one. So again, keep your questions for the end of the workshop, please. Now, if someone says to you that they believe that plants are alive or plants have feelings, so vegans are killing plants, and therefore they try to justify killing animals by saying that, what's your response to that? So many of you, in fact all of you, said things that are good. So I just want to expand on that a little bit. So the first thing, like many of you said, plants don't have a brain, don't have a nervous system. They are not sentient beings. Yes, they are alive in the way that, you know, they're breathing air and they keep growing. But they're not living beings. They're not sentient beings like we are and animals are. Some of you said they don't grow back. Sorry, they do grow back. So plants do grow back. But if you were to cut my head off, I'm not going to grow another head. And that is correct. However, I wonder if there are certain plants that wouldn't grow back. So maybe that's not the strongest point to make, but surely you can use that sometimes. The other point that you all made, which is really good, is that, well, we need to eat something to survive, right? And the animals that humans eat are being fed way more plants or crops. So by being vegan, you're eating far less plants because you're eating the plants directly, because a cow will eat 10 times what a human will eat on average. So you will need way more plants to feed one cow. If that human was to eat the plants directly, they would be automatically eating way less plants. And therefore you're killing less plants by eating them directly. What else? I think that's basically it. I kind of lost my train of thoughts, but I think that's it for this argument. Let me know if, I mean, one thing that was really good, and I do like this response from Laura, is if plants are living sentient beings, just like animals are, then why is it that when there's a fire, the firefighters will not run into the house to go and save the plants? But they would if there was a baby in there, or if there was a dog or an animal in there. They would run and save that individual, but they don't do that for plants, which is another good point. Another thing we can say is these animals do try to show us. They scream, they cry. When you look in their eyes, you can see the fear. They try to even get away from us. So they're clearly showing us that they don't want to die. And there is no way that you could deny that. Whereas when it comes to plants, like I said, we need to eat something to survive, and we can eat plants. So I think that's it for this question, and we can probably move on. Again, on Instagram, I don't know what's happening here. I'm not even going to pay attention. Yes, exactly. It's been proven that animals do feel pain and they suffer. But plants, it's debatable. So why do we need to focus on something that has not been proven? Absolutely. The firefighter response is a great backup. Yeah, I agree. I really like it because it's a bit like lighthearted as well. So I like it. Okay, I think we can move on. Let me see if there were any arguments being thrown at us that we could use. Somebody says, hold on, I lost it. All right, I don't think I'm going to find anything. Just too busy on this live stream. We do have a non-vegan here, so maybe they can help us with these arguments. Okay, let's use this non-vegan's argument. What about people that say, but look at your teeth, you've got canines and that's why you should be eating animals? How do you respond to that? Canines though. So we do have a non-vegan trying to justify killing animals because a tiger would go and kill animals. Let me just say one thing, because I don't want to take away from this workshop. Just because there's evil going on in the world, does that mean you need to go and join in and be a part of it? For example, there are pedophiles that are kidnapping children, raping them, and then killing them. Psychopaths that are raping women, killing them. Does that mean because that's happening, you need to go and join? How is it that you're trying to justify your behavior and your actions by saying evil does exist and there are others doing it? I'm not even going to focus on you comparing yourself to a tiger, which is absolutely insane. And we could easily debunk those arguments. But just this one point that I made, just think about it. If there are other people that are killing, raping, and torturing human beings, does that mean you need to join in and be a part of it? Does that justify then you causing unnecessary harm to the animals? All right, now back to our question. So my question was, when people say, non-vegans say, look at your teeth though, you're meant to be eating animals. Matt said, my teeth are pretty flat and I don't have sharpened molars that rip through flesh or eat the flesh raw. Yep. Okay. Hippos have large canines and they are herbivores. Yes. Hippos and gorillas have the largest, I believe. Our jaws grind from side to side. Carnivores only go up and down with scissor-like teeth. The largest canine teeth are in a herbivore. Yes. Most herbivores have pointy teeth for eating fruits. Your teeth would only tickle a pig or a cow. Don't be ridiculous. Your teeth are not for meat. This is why you need knives. Beautiful. Hippos have the largest canines and are herbivores. Our jaws operate like a herbivore when eating. Also, our saliva digests starch and our stomach acid isn't strong enough to handle raw meat. Even chemically, our digestive systems are made for plants. Alright, what's happening here? I'd also say that canines aren't relevant because science proved we can be healthy on vegan diet in all stages, so why wouldn't we? Why would we choose to be cruel to animals? Just because we can eat other animals doesn't justify doing it. We can rape and murder too. Does that mean we should do it? Anything here? Doesn't look like you guys are part of this workshop. Alright, I might need to just come back here for the questions. More responses? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You also have hands which you can kill a person with them. Why don't you do that? Yes. All right, so the question was, when people say you're canines, look at them, you're meant to be eating animals. How do you respond to that? All the responses were really good. So the first thing I usually say is the biggest canines belong to gorillas and hippos. And those animals only eat plants. So, what the fuck? Let me just charge my phone. Plug this in. Okay. So that would be the first response that I usually use. The fact that gorillas and hippos have the biggest canines and they're both herbivores. Now, some of your responses was about our jaw movements and the stomach acid and things like that. So that would be, I guess that would be a separate kind of argument when maybe when people are comparing us to carnivores, or when they bring up all these other things about why lions and tigers kill animals and eat them. So I don't want to get into that. The question was just about your teeth. So let's stay focused on that for this question. So yeah, that was the first point. The other point is someone said it and it was a funny response and I liked it. They said your teeth would only tickle a pig or a cow. So the other thing you can say is, yeah, you think you have really big canines, but if you try to bite into an animal, see what happens. Because when you look at tigers or lions, they actually use their teeth or their claws to tear an animal apart, and they just use their teeth or their claws to kill that animal, and they just eat the flesh raw. What we do though, we don't do that. So we actually go to the supermarket and we pay for the already packaged, chopped up product, and then we bring that product home and we season it and we cook it and then we eat it. So again, that argument is debunked because we actually don't use our teeth in the way that carnivorous animals use their teeth. And the last point that I would make, which some of you already said, would be, let's say we do have canines and they're pretty sharp and they're pretty big. Just because you have the ability to do something, does that make it morally okay to do so? Someone said, we do have hands and you could use your hands to kill people. Do we do that? Or you can say, just because men have a penis and they can rape, does that mean they're going to go and rape women or children? We have legs and we can kick. Does that mean we're going to kick little babies in the face? So just because you have something doesn't mean that you're going to use it to cause unnecessary harm and suffering to others. So that's basically my response for this. Let me know if there is anything you want to add to this argument about our teeth. Otherwise, we can move on. All right, I think that's it. We can move on. I did see some questions here, so maybe we could use them. I think we already responded, because we do have a non-vegan, comment section on Facebook, just for our Instagram followers. We already responded, so you can bring up as many arguments as you want to try to justify murdering innocent animals. But again, just because you have the ability to chew their flesh or to process them in your stomach, and you don't get sick for a while or whatever it might be, just because you have the ability to do that, does that make it morally okay to continue causing unnecessary harm and suffering? That's the question you need to be asking yourself, instead of trying to come up with all these arguments that can easily be debunked by science to try to justify your actions. All right, next question. Next question. I saw it before, I can't find it anymore, but I think it was something, because when we're talking to non-vegans, they try to come up with any silly argument to try to justify their own actions, because they don't want to face the truth and they don't want to change, because change is always uncomfortable, right? So they try to point out at different things. One thing is, oh, but isn't that person in the cube wearing leather shoes? No, that's PU, that's synthetic, etc. Oh, but don't vegans take medication? Well, we might need to take it because it's necessary, but we always look for alternatives, and if the alternative is not available, then that person has to make that exception, because we do live in a non-vegan world. So these arguments do come up as well. And one argument that, it does come up sometimes, and I saw it before, is fertilizers. So even vegans use fertilizers to grow their veggies, and that comes from animals. So how do you justify that? I know it might not be a very common argument, but let's workshop it together. So the question is, vegans do use fertilizers that come from animals, or animal products are used to grow veggies and fruit, and how do you justify that? Or they usually try to say that, to be like, oh, I gotcha, you're a hypocrite. We have a fertilizer here that is vegan. That's really cool, but that wouldn't be the best response. In mainstream agriculture, they use bone meal, etc. Yes. Vegan fertilizers are available. Yes. You can make vegan fertilizer with banana. It's still used more for animals as they consume far more plants, and as the world is going vegan, that animal part of fertilizers would gradually decrease. Yes. Anything here? Nope. Supporting a fertilizer company by purchasing it from them doesn't directly contribute towards the murder of those animals like buying a burger does. Mm-hmm. Eating plants that use animal manure as fertilizer, we don't increase the demand for animal products. We live in a non-vegan world, and it's not always possible and practicable to avoid this. Thanks, Karen. Finally, I was able to spot a relevant comment on this live stream. It's crazy here. Half of the comments are people saying she doesn't speak Spanish, guys. She doesn't speak Spanish. This is funny. I'm not a huge plant grower, but it's very easy to buy a mulcher and get top grade dirt. Organically grown vegetable, not vegan. Alright, I think that's it. Let me know if you have any more responses you want to add to this one. I know you are here. It's just very hard because your comments get buried under. And for me to find them, it's just very hard. Alright, so the response would be, again, like I said, we do live in a non-vegan world, and we're trying to do our best to avoid animal cruelty. Now, our practices when it comes to growing veggies can definitely get better. We can definitely work on that, and that's something that we should talk about. But some of you may not know this, but when you go to the supermarket or farmer's market, for the most part, even when you buy organic fruits and vegetables, the soil that these veggies are grown in has either animal manure or things like bone and blood and basically just waste from the meat industry, animal body parts that they put in the soil. So even with organic, it's quite rare actually that growers avoid using animal products. Obviously, we do have veganic farming, and veganic farming is when they use plant-based, fertilizers to grow their veggies and fruit. But depending on where you live, that might be very difficult to find. Another alternative obviously is to grow our own fruit and veggies, which again is not a practical solution for many of us because you may not have the space, etc. But to be realistic and practical, we do live in a non-vegan world too, so it's understandable that there are things that we can't avoid. So if my only options where I live is buying fruits and vegetables that were grown in soil that had animal products in there, or the fertilizer wasn't vegan, that doesn't then justify me going into the supermarket and paying for a cow burger or a chopped up body of a chicken or eggs or other animal products. So there's a difference between intentionally supporting something, going in with your money and buying an animal product, and buying fruits and veggies that were grown in some kind of non-vegan fertilizer. But again, you do need to eat something to survive, and if that's your only option or that's the only affordable option, then that's what you're going to do. So really, that's how you respond to this question, by emphasizing on the fact that we do live in a non-vegan world and we're trying to do our best to avoid animal exploitation as much as possible and practicable. For some of us, it might be a practical solution to use our own waste from veggies, bananas, or any fruit and veggies, when you peel your fruit, and you have a compost system and you keep that and then you use that as your fertilizer if you're growing, even if you have little pots and you're growing certain veggies. But for many of us, that's not a practical solution. So we still go to the supermarket and we still have to buy the veggies. And also for many of us, organic even or veganic options may not be affordable or practical. So really it comes down to what is possible and practical for us as individuals, and we always do our best to avoid animal exploitation. And we do need to speak up against the farming practices, so that we continue. Like if you go to the farmers market especially and you're directly talking to farmers, it would be a good idea to talk to them and educate them and encourage them to stop using animal-based fertilizers so that they can then start using vegan alternatives, and then you can go back and support them by buying their produce, and that way you're creating more demand for it. But that's all we can do really. Alright, I can see that there are many non-vegans here, so maybe we stop this live stream here, the workshop, and then for the next half an hour I just take questions. Let me see if I missed anything. If there's anything you want to add to this question, let me know. Alright, I think that's it. So we wrap this workshop up here, and then I'm happy to take questions from either you guys who are already activists and just need help with certain things, or if you're new to veganism and you have questions, or if you're not a vegan and you have questions. Let me know for the next half an hour or so. I'll be here taking questions. Any questions? Questions about veganism, about activism? How to answer that shellfish don't have a central nervous system, so is it the same as eating plants? Okay, so when it comes to some of the sea animals, like shellfish, like clams, like oysters, help me if there's anything else. But yeah, so when you're faced with that question, the number one thing is that we don't know. So it hasn't been completely proven that they do feel pain and they do have some kind of a nervous system or a brain or not. Science is actually not hasn't concluded anything on this. Like, it's still debatable. It's still something that we haven't decided on. So in that case, wouldn't it be better to stay on the safe side and just avoid eating these animals, these sea animals that are still animals? They just don't walk on land and they just swim in the ocean. So wouldn't it be better to stay on the safe side and avoid killing them and using them and eating them? Because it's something that we're not sure about, right? We don't need to be doing it, so why would we do it, especially if we're not 100% sure? And it's different to plants. We were talking about plants a lot today. So when it comes to plants, it's different because we do need to eat something to survive. And it's been proven that plants, although are alive in a way, they're not sentient beings because they don't have a nervous system, they don't have a brain. But when it comes to things like clams and oysters, we don't know. So we should actually stay on the safe side and we should avoid it. How do I become an activist? If you're in a city that there's an AV chapter there, you can join a Cube. So just go on our website, cubeoftruth.com, and you can see the location. There's a map, you can put in your location and you can find all the chapters that are nearby, and then you can join us whenever you like. You don't need to do anything in advance. We just ask that you wear black clothing if you can and show up. Depending on your chapter and how they operate, you might need to bring a laptop or a tablet if you have it, with the footage already downloaded on it, and VLC player also downloaded so you can easily play the footage. But masks, signs, and in some chapters, TVs or tablets will be provided, so you can just show up whenever you like. When I try to show people what we pay for to eat meat, they ask not to show these horrible things, otherwise they will feel guilty and may lose appetite of their meals. How to make them watch. My live stream on my page is about to end in about 50 seconds, so I'm just going to go live again. So if you get cut out, just make sure you join again, because you might not hear the rest of my response. So when you have people, and this is your family and friends, but it happens with the public as well, when we're doing a cube, and when they're walking past, they're like, oh, I don't want to look at it, I don't want to look at it, I know, I feel really bad, I feel guilty. And what happens a lot of times is they actually put like a $10 note or a $20 note in a if there's a donation box on the table. They put it in because they feel so guilty, and they would rather put the money in there to support a cause that they're not actually supporting in their actions. And then they want to look away, and they don't want to continue watching it because it makes them feel bad. So it's quite interesting how humans operate, right? But let me just go live again on my page. But what you can do is just ask them the question, this is something that you're paying for, this is something that you're consuming. Don't you want to know where these products are coming from? Because this is exactly what you're consuming and paying for. This is what you're supporting. Why is it that you don't want to watch it? If you feel guilty watching it, doesn't that say something about what you're supporting? So although you're not physically killing these animals, but you're paying someone else to do it for you so that you can sit down for 5 minutes and eat a meal, why is it that you're avoiding the reality of what you're paying for? Just ask them that question and let them think about it. And that's really all we can do with these people, because unless somebody chooses to look at the truth and really explore it and talk about it, we can't force them to do that. So all we can do is show them the truth, ask them questions, help them make the connection, and the rest is really up to them. I just honestly don't understand the mentality of some people in the comment section. Like, you just keep commenting and you see that I don't respond. Why do you keep commenting? I clearly do not speak Spanish. Do you even care what page you're following? Like, I just don't understand it. They're just talking about whatever they want to talk about. If it's not good enough for your eyes, then why would it be good enough to place in your body? Yes. I'm 17 and I want to be an animal rights activist. I started a page on Instagram to aware people. Just need some suggestions. Well, that's awesome. I wish I went vegan when I was 17, and I wish I was speaking up for the animals when I was that young. So good on you for making that connection. Suggestions in terms of what you can post. I recommend just putting together either text-based posts with really good catchy images that you can find online, or making short clips, video clips, and just focus on one topic. Do 60-second videos even. Sorry. And just focus on one topic at a time. You can cover, backyard eggs, for example, or plants have feelings, these common arguments. Just make really quick videos and make it snappy and easy to understand, and just share that on your page. You can obviously also share things that we post on the AV page. You can share that to your page. And yeah, engage in conversations with non-vegans. Is Michael Jackson alive? I don't know. I definitely know that it's not a question for this live stream though. We're an animal rights organization. We're a vegan group. So ask me questions about veganism or activism. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. You guys are funny. How does a child or a teenager go vegan if their family doesn't allow them to? Ooh. Well, I mean, it depends how old they are. I would imagine with a teenager is a lot more easier than a child. So if you're talking about a very young child, I mean, you can still stand your ground as a child. And if you have got, if you're old enough to understand the logic behind it, and you can tell your parents, look, as a 10-year-old, I'm convinced that this is wrong and I don't want to participate, I don't want to pay for animal cruelty. I just want to be vegan. If as a 10-year-old I've made that connection, surely you can look at the facts as well and maybe you will make that connection as well. And, I know of families that a teenager in the family went vegan and then they turned the entire family vegan, which I think was really cool. So yeah, in terms of children or teenagers that live in a non-vegan household, I guess once they have made the connection and they're convinced that they want to be vegan, what they can do is provide information that help them make the connection to their family. So if it was a documentary or, if it was videos, then share that with the family. Maybe one night suggest that we're going to watch a documentary tonight. I'm going to pick it and we're all going to watch it together. And then we're going to discuss it. So suggest doing that if they're open to it. And if you have done that and your family doesn't want to be vegan and they're not open to it, again, especially as a teenager, but even as a child, depending on how old you are, you have the right to choose to be vegan. So you can just say, okay, look, I'm not financially independent yet, so I don't make my own money. However, I have decided that I don't want to support animal cruelty anymore. So I really would appreciate it if you either prepare vegan meals for me or just buy produce and products for me so that I can prepare my own food. Again, if you're old enough to be able to cook. So just remember that you don't have to buy all the fancy vegan food. You don't have to buy all different kinds of cheese and ice cream and burgers. You can just eat a whole foods plant-based diet, which is the cheapest diet on the planet. So you're just eating rice, potatoes, corn, vegetables, nuts, seeds, fruits, and beans and things like that. So you can ask your parents to buy that for you and prepare it for you so you always eat a vegan meal. And just continue to educate your family. That's all I can say. I know it can be hard, but just, when you know that you're doing the right thing, nobody can convince you otherwise, even your parents. And remember that they have been conditioned for years and years and years. So to be able to reverse all those layers of conditioning might take some time. All right, let me know if you have any more questions. Do vegans have any exceptions on eating meat? What do you think? Do you think that if you say I'm anti-racist, then you would make an exception on Sundays to be a racist? Or if you say I'm against rape, Would you make an exception twice a month to then rape? Same logic applies to veganism. Veganism is not a diet or a trend, something that is just cool, so I'm gonna do it. It's a stance that you take against animal cruelty. So just like any other injustice, if you take a stance against any other injustice, like racism, like sexism, and many other injustices that exist, you wouldn't make an exception based on what's more convenient or what feels good, what may give you some pleasure in the moment. You're not going to make an exception because you're convinced that it's the wrong thing to continue to support animal cruelty, and that's the stance you're taking. So no, vegans don't make any exceptions, not only on eating meat, but eating anything that comes from an animal, and wearing anything that comes from an animal, buying anything that has animal based ingredients in it, or anything that was tested on animals, and so on. What's the alternative for wool? Just synthetic materials, I guess, like this. I don't know what this is. This is all synthetic, but it's so warm. Let me see. So it's acrylic and nylon. Nylon and acrylic, it's all synthetic. So you have obviously cotton as an organic option, bamboo, but I don't know how warm they can be. But you can always find synthetic options, and yeah, it's going to be just as warm as wool would be. I don't get these people that are just laughing. Like, what's funny about what I'm talking about? I don't know. All right, let me know if you have any more questions for me. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. My home is full of vegan products. I use alternatives to wool and leather. Of course. Yeah, there's alternative to wool. There's alternative to leather, which is all synthetic. Or nowadays, they're making leather shoes and leather bags and leather wallets and belts and things like that from plants. Organic, they're making pineapple leather, mushroom leather. So, and that would be obviously better for the environment than the synthetic option. But then if, that's more affordable or accessible to you, then you're not harming anybody in the process. What about insects then? Also not harm them? No, why would you want to harm an insect? Insects are scared of us. Can you imagine looking at a being that is 1,000,000 times bigger than you walking towards you? Like, we're talking about tiny little spiders, for example. When you get close to them, they just freeze because they're so scared. Apart from certain insects that could be harmful, and they could kill you, even maybe certain kinds of spiders, or different insects that could be harmful. No, you don't need to kill them. You don't need to spray them and torture them. You can just take them out and leave them, if you have a backyard, or if you can just take them to the street. What I always do, if there is a fly or a little flying insect, because there's so many different species, right? I don't know what they're all called. But if there is an individual that is flying around in the house, I usually open the window and I kind of direct them to go out. If we're talking about a spider or a worm or something that cannot fly, what I do is I grab a container, like a plastic container or a glass container or even a cup, and then you grab a piece of paper and you put the container over them and slide the paper in slowly without injuring them, and then you take them outside. And just think about it. Like I said, if you found yourself somehow in somebody else's property, somebody that was a million times bigger than you, wouldn't you hope that they would do the same? They would just slowly, respectfully, patiently take you outside and let you just go and live your life rather than killing you. I mean, the insects are not here to harm us. They're not here to scare us. That's not their intention. So if you can take them outside, please do that. Hey, Paola. Trolls are just a waste of energy. Yes, and that's why I said at the start, just ignore them. But some of you guys cannot help but engaging in conversations. It's so funny what I'm talking about, isn't it? It's hilarious. Oh, sorry. The Oyster Argument, we already covered that, so if you missed that part, you can go watch it back. Thank you for speaking up for the bugs. They're just little. All good, all good. Don't be sorry, just watch it back because I don't want to repeat it for people that watched it. All right, let me know if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, I can wrap this up. It's been a very good live stream. Before we do that, I'm going to announce our winners for the giveaway today. So if you're still watching on Instagram, Save Vegan. I think it was save_vegan. If you're still watching, let me know. Otherwise, I may announce somebody else. And on Facebook, Tofu Matt. I think you're still here. So send me a message on Facebook and I'll send you a voucher to use on the website. And on Instagram, Save Vegan if you're watching. If you're not watching, if somebody knows them and they can tag them, that would be cool. Tutorial makeup. What the fuck? This is a live stream about animal rights. What the fuck are you guys on about? Oh, sane vegan. Sorry, that's right. I can't even read my own handwriting. Sane vegan. Can you send me a message on Instagram, on my personal Instagram, and I'll send you the voucher. And Tofu Matt, are you still watching? Thank you. Will you upload your streams to YouTube? Yes, I've been doing that. I've started doing that because you guys requested it. So yeah, I'll continue doing that. Every time I do a live stream, I'll just upload the whole thing to YouTube so you can watch it back as many times as you like. I used to just chop them up and put them into smaller videos, but I know that YouTube, people that watch YouTube prefer to watch the entire long videos. So I'm doing that from now on. I can see that there are some questions here under. So let me see. How did I go vegan? I went vegan because I watched footage from a fur farm where these beautiful foxes were being abused, and their screams just really affected me, and the look in their eyes. And so it made me really angry, and then I realized that if I'm against animal cruelty, I should be against all kinds of animal cruelty. So that's how I went vegan, and I became an activist like soon after. Thank you, but please keep it for another great activist next time. I'm not sure what you mean, Matt. Do you not want the voucher? Because I can announce somebody else. Yours and Paul's workshops are great. I can watch them for hours. Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep up the great work, Asal. I look forward to getting back out in New York City. Yes, me too. I miss doing outreach so much. I don't know how long it's going to be. Hopefully another month, and then we can start outreach. You go slow? What do you mean, Maria? What do you mean you go slow? Do you mean with veganism? If that's what you mean, no. You just, when you decide that you want to be vegan, you decide today and you become vegan today. So you just stop eating animal products and wearing animal products. You don't need to take it slowly. Okay, again, Matt, so are you saying that you want me to pick another person on this live stream? I mean, I can do that. Just let me know before I wrap this up. Are you not going on the streets right now doing outreach because of the virus? Nina, I don't know where you're watching from, but most places in the world, because of the lockdown, our demonstrations were cancelled because because of the lockdown, because basically we were not allowed to do it. But slowly, some chapters are starting to operate, but obviously they have to do social distancing, so the cube doesn't look like the regular cube, but they can do it anyway. So here in Melbourne, we haven't been able to start cubing because gatherings in public are not allowed yet, but they are changing the lockdown rules. So here, as of June 1st, I think some restaurants started operating, but they only allow a certain number of people in. So I'm guessing this is going to affect public gatherings as well. That means that probably this month or next month we can start the cubes again. Maybe there will be a limit on how many people can gather together, and maybe the cube would have to be, with the social distancing guidelines. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can start doing them again soon. Yes. Oh, okay. So I have to pick someone else. So let me go up on Facebook. Let me know if you have any more questions, guys. All right, let me know if you have any more questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. We've been live for 90 minutes. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up because I can't see any more questions. I couldn't pick another person, so I guess we'll just keep that voucher for next time. All right. Thank you so much for joining me for this live stream. I enjoyed it a lot as always, and I hope that you found it helpful as well. And please continue to speak up for the animals because they need us now. And for those of you who are not vegan yet, look into it and please go vegan now, because every day that you're a non-vegan, you're continuing to support torture, rape, and murder of innocent animals unnecessarily, and that is completely on you. It doesn't take anything crazy to go vegan. You can just decide to be vegan and you can do it from today. Not only that, but then you need to start speaking up for the animals, because they need us to speak up for them. They are the most oppressed, and they have been oppressed for the longest, and that needs to change. So we all need to speak up for the animals. And again, if you are not vegan yet, you can go on our website, cubeoftruth.com. We have lots of good resources, documentaries to watch, books to read, etc. And yeah, let us know if you need help with going vegan, and we're here to support you and answer your questions. All right, much love, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Thank you, and take care.